Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It looks pretty good. The design looks pretty good, but there's a lot of things you guys could be doing to hopefully improve your sales, and I know that's the bottom line, really, right? So before I start, a lot of people have a misconception of SEO. A lot of people think of SEO like it was 10 years ago, where if you just sprinkled the keywords in a post just the right way, and you sprinkled them, and made in the appropriate headers, and all this kind of stuff. Made your word count, 2,230 characters. You'll rank higher, and the character count still is a thing, and of course, keywords are important. But you'll get penalized for keyword stuffing and stuff like that. So generally, with the keywords, you need to do about 20% more than normal, but it certainly needs to sound natural. So if you're writing about an engine motor, you don't want to say engine motor techniques. This post is about an engine motor because engine motors are fun to work with. We really like engine motors over and over again. So you want to make it sound natural, but I would make it. I would use keywords about 10 to 15 to 20% more to kind of help boost those rankings. But anyway, we'll get into all that. So what I do want to make clear is what Google says are the three top factors when it comes to SEO, because this is what we're playing to. Of course, Bing and Yahoo, they're between 10 and 20% and all the other search engines. Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo are other big players, but most people focus on Google, and that makes sense. So let's see what they say. The first three things are content, which you guys are not doing. Metadata, which looks like you're doing some. So I throw schema into there as well. And then performance. And your performance, it looks good, but there's a few caveats with that. So let's go ahead and jump in. When I say do this, do that, I do want to make it clear that nobody really knows what the algorithms. I mean, I think it's between 200 and 300 ranking signals for Google, but a lot. This is just experience. This is a lot of conferences. This is a lot of reading posts, of reading other people's opinions, reverse engineering, all kinds of stuff. So let me change this. So, it's just, I would say most people that are in this industry that I'm in, the SEO industry, the web performance industry, site optimization industry, would agree with probably 90% of what I'm saying. But nobody really knows. So people do have, I'm not a keyword junkie anymore. It just doesn't seem to work. But there's some people who stay strict to that methodology. And if you keyword stuff, you're going to end up hurting yourself in the long run. And I've had people that I work with who keyword stuff, and it might help for the first few months, but eventually it will hurt you. And if you get penalized by Google, it's a multi-month, multi-year thing to recover from, and you don't want to do that. So I think I have okay, I just wanted to make sure I had a blurb in there before I forget. So outdated techniques don't work long-term. Let me put that in there. There's no magical, it's a lot of work. And I said that on my gig description. This is a lot of work, and there's a lot to do. And this is certainly not something. A lot of people have a full-time marketing. Well, a lot of people have marketing departments, like a marketing department, and I'm sure you guys do. But a lot of the people in marketing don't know digital marketing, and so there's a lot of overlap with digital marketing and SEO these days. So you got on-page SEO, which is the technicalities on the page, the web performance, and then off-page, which is more of the digital marketing realm. We're definitely going to get into that. I would say a lot more of SEO these days is more of the digital marketing realm. So, and I'm no expert there. I know enough to get my stuff done. My problem is I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of the traditional marketing type of things, but I'm really good with a lot of the digital marketing things. It's a lot of hacks and a lot of tricks and things like that. So the goal of SEO, a lot of people think it's to rank on top of the Google search results, and that makes sense. But why do you want to rank on top of the Google search results? It's because you want people to visit your website, and that's ultimately what this is about. I guess ultimately it's to sell more things, but ultimately to get people to your website, and the more people that visit your website, ideally, the more people, the more things you would sell. So indirect is the best method, the most effective method of doing SEO these days. Getting people to your website and upselling them, and the more traffic that comes to your site, even if it's just reading your content. You don't want to be a content website, of course. It's a commerce website. But the more people that come to your website based on content, the higher you're going to get in the Google search results. And the next time somebody does go look to buy an Endromat, I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. I've never heard of this. Google's going to say, okay, whatever. Google might say, okay, this website is getting 1,000 hits per month. It must be a legitimate website. So if somebody types in buy Indramat San Antonio, we're going to rank it higher than we would have 3 months ago when they were only getting 20 visits. So that's the idea of what's going on. It takes time. If you do a lot of this stuff, on average, I should have had a chart up. Most people I work with, most customers, most clients, whatever you want to say, it takes about 6 months. It's pretty flat for a long time. Then after about 6 months, you start to see a steady increase. And as long as you see that steady increase, it's fine. A lot of people will promise you, I'll get you Google ranked in a month or even a week, or it's just crazy. It doesn't work. You'll waste your money. Don't waste your money. You might get there in 3 months, and you might take a year, but on average, it seems to be about 6 months. If you put a lot of effort into it. Do not buy links or traffic. You'll get penalized. Like again, this is one of those things. So backlinks are very important because the more links you have coming into your website, the more legitimate Google thinks it is, right? So, and this is just one signal, as I said, of the hundreds. So, back in the day, 10 years ago, people would buy backlinks to all of these spammy websites, Russia, just websites that don't even do anything. And Google would say, okay, they have 1,000 links coming in, they must be legitimate. But now Google uses something, I don't know if this is the official term, but this is certainly something we call it, domain authority. So if you get a link from CNN.com or from Fortune.com or from FoxNews.com, that link is going to have a lot more juice or value than a link coming in from, joesclockmaker.org. You understand what I'm saying? So you do want to get much of backlinks as possible, and do not buy traffic. It's the same thing. Google's getting smart. It's learning to detect this stuff. So the basic method for most places, for most websites, is you want to create content. You want to promote your content, whether it's pay and whether it's off-page SEO type stuff, or off-page digital marketing type stuff. And then you want to deliver it. You want to deliver it in a manner to where it's presented nicely on your websites and where the website runs in a fast manner. So that's basically it. So performance, if you go to GT Metrics, which is a tool I use, and this is where my background really began with web performance years and years ago, and we found out that people's websites were ranking higher if they were performing better. And people would ask me, what are some other ways I can rank higher? And that's when I got into all this, 10 years ago, and I took a break 5 years ago, and it was totally a different industry. Got out of it again for a couple years, and I've been pretty heavy into it for the last 3 years or so. So that just tells you things change. You get a paid F rating here, a 4 out of 100, and you get a 71% rating, which is pretty good. And a lot of people, these scores scare you. What you mainly want to look at is full load time. Yours loads in 6 seconds, which is acceptable, and it seems to load, and we'll get to this. So why it's a 4%? If you look at some of these, use cookie-free domains. For example, if you're going to use cookies, you cannot have cookie-free domains, so you're getting heavily penalized for that. But people want to use cookies, so you'd have to stop using cookies. Reduce DNS lookups. It looks like you're doing Google Maps. You're going to Font Awesome for fonts. You're going to Google Tag Manager, probably for Google Analytics or Google Search Console. Probably, I think that's Analytics actually. So unless you don't want to use these external reasons, you can't reduce DNS lookup. So don't pay much attention to this score. Now, 4% is pretty low, very low. Generally over 50 is decent, but like I said, your page is loading pretty good according to GT Metrics, and we'll get into some concern I have. Your biggest problem seems to be you have a lot of images that are, these two aren't that bad, but we get to, basically they need to be compressed, and you need to use lossyless or lossy. I always get them confused. I think it's lossyless, that's the better one. So if you go here, whoops, where was it? There's a lot of images that just aren't optimized, and that's really slowing things down. Not really slowing things down, but slowing things down. And even if it didn't improve much, it's going to hurt this score. So that's the point. You may not have to take it too seriously, but there's no reason not to optimize your images. You can bulk do this stuff. There's WordPress plugins that could do this stuff, and you could get rid of all these two things pretty quickly. You do have most JavaScript deferred. It looks like there's some that isn't deferred. Now what deferred is, if you load the JavaScript without an async or without a defer attribute up top, it'll load the JavaScript at the same time the web page loads. You want to defer it, so it basically tells load web page and load JavaScript at the same time. It gets a lot more complicated than that, but that's the general idea. So you definitely want to look into that, and that isn't too terribly hard. Okay, see, this is another way you're getting penalized, but if you see, let me zoom in for you. You can't, you can't cache external resources, right? So you're getting dinged for this, even though it's something you can't do. So it's like I said, it can be pretty misleading. You're minifying CSS, you're minifying JavaScript, so that's good. Let me see if there was anything here. Yeah, it doesn't look like you're doing an effective. Well, let me see. See, these are again expiry headers, and these are all external resources, so you can't put expiry headers on them. But I think so. It looks like you are doing caching. I misread that earlier when I was preparing for this. You're using compression. Yeah, may not be that big of a deal. So that's kind of what's going on there. Now, web page test, which is a much more detailed report, is very concerning. If you look at load time here, it's 35 seconds, which is crazy. And most web pages, and if you have a website on a blazing server and it's not like a cheaper hosting plan, which you guys may have, you may not, I don't know. That's all people need most of the time. You want to get it under 2 or 3 seconds. Google says 2 seconds. Rarely do I come across a web page that loads in 2 seconds. Anything under 10 is, under 6 is good. Under 10 is reasonable. 35 is crazy. Your time to first byte is really good. This is basically how long it takes once you send the request to get this is oversimplification, to get the process started. First contextual paint, this is how long it takes before the first thing is painted to the web page. So that looks pretty good. But so it's the load time that's before the page completely completes. And even if it does not take 35 seconds for the page to load, which it doesn't look like for you, you still want to look at that, because what if Google's using this metric to determine how fast your page is responding? So you probably have a runaway JavaScript or something like that. So let me look at the waterfall here, the waterfall chart. This is basically all the assets that are loading on your page. So you can see here, the orange is connect, the HTML is blue, the JavaScript is green. So if you can see here, it takes 355 minutes, 3.5 milliseconds for you to type in .com on the web browser and for it to start responding. That's really, really good. Really, really good. You definitely want to have that under 5, but sometimes it might shift to 1.2 or whatever. This is concerning. This JavaScript, it's really busy. A lot of times if JavaScript loads, you'll see it a light shade like, wait, is that JavaScript? Yeah. Let me see something. Okay, so it's executing here. You can see this piece of code, it's not completing for 30 seconds. So even though it might look loaded, something is not loading properly. Let me zoom back out. It looks like it's related to a Cloudflare, or it's some type of beacon, expect CT. I'm not sure what that is. So that's something you'd want to investigate for sure. Now, these are concerning, these images, and it might be, let me see. I bet they're just very large. No, they're not that large. It's scaling down the image, which is you want to have images generally under 100, and that is under 100, so that's no big deal. But for some reason, they are taking an extreme amount of time to load. I mean, images should load kind of quick, like boom, 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 boom. Now, looking at a waterfall chart, you want it to be more of like a stair step, like more like this, boom, little quick lines. You have these very long lines. The whiter purple means it's loading and waiting. The darker purple means things are loading. You want to have as much of the darker shade of these lines as possible. Wait means generally the server's busy doing something, so it starts loading, then it waits and waits. So it waits about 3 seconds, loads a little bit, waits and waits and waits about 7 more seconds, and it's taking 17 seconds to load an image, which is horrible. So, like I said, the page looks like it's loading quick to people looking at it, but the images in the background are taking a long time to load, so you want to look at that. Looks like the JavaScript for Tag Manager is 404ing, which means it doesn't exist, so you want to take a peek at that. And again, here's more images that are taking a long time to load. So you got to figure out what's going on there. Here's another one, JPG. So something weird is going on there. So this is probably too much detail, and here's more down here, right? So let me show you. If you do a film strip of it, I gotta zoom out. And this is testing from web page test from Dulles, Virginia. Let me go back and show you. With this Well, if you run this test, you can run it from all kinds of different locations. You can run it. You can disable JavaScript and run it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. But if you look at the film strip, let me close this to stop confusing me. The film strip view. Now this is coming from wherever this test is coming from, Virginia. You can see at 0 seconds, there's nothing. 0 second, 5.5, 1.5, there's a little something loading. You can see at 3, you're getting the title bar, which is, it's okay. But nothing else loads, even though it does for me when I'm realistically doing it, for 19 seconds. So that's horrible. That's extremely unacceptable. And then it keeps going and it loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, and it doesn't load for 37 seconds. So let me see if the video is available. And the reason this is very important too. Okay, it's not processed yet, but you get the idea. Performance is very, very relevant to ranking in Google. So all this needs to be looked at. Yeah. So I think. So what you want to do? You want to test it for multiple locations. Now there's free tools like Browserling. Let me just go there for you. You can put in the website. This person's using, Windows 7. If you paid for this, you could get Windows 10, but I don't pay for it. Using Chrome version. So the reason you want to do this also is to see what it's loading like from another point of view, right? But try it on different web browser combinations, try it on different operating systems, and make sure it looks good to them. So many times I'll find that my website looks good to me, but doesn't look good when I'm using other web browser and operating system and all kinds of different combinations. So in this instance, it loads good, and it loaded pretty decently. Now, one way to automate, let me see. And there's other tools you can do this from. And you want to do it test from different locations using, I would use a VPN, honestly. I would invest the $5 a month in a VPN. Then once a month, go and load it from California. What's the speed like? Load it from Canada. What's the speed like? New York. What's the speed like? And I know you guys are in San Antonio, I think, but I'm sure, it looks like I don't know nothing about these products, but it looks like something that you would do business with in multiple states, maybe internationally, right? So you want to test from all these different locations, see if there's any bottlenecks. If not, there's free tools you can use, but So what Inspectlet is, you always want to see what your website looks like to other people and how they're interacting with it, right? Because it may look good to you, but it may look horrible to other people. Just for the same reason we use Browserling. But this is what this is. It's a little piece of JavaScript. The free gives you 50 sessions per day, which is enough. This is a website I run called Interesting Answers. It's a test ground for me to test out all kinds of new stuff. Basically answers like random questions that pop into your head that aren't really important. Like, what's the difference between ibuprofen and over-the-counter ibuprofen? Why is there so much oil in the Middle East? What will a tire lose air if a valve cap is missing? Anyway, so you get the idea. So what you do here, you put the little piece of JavaScript code on your website, and you can see this person found my website through DuckDuckGo. This person found it from Google, and Google doesn't share what terms they use, which is disappointing, even though I think you can get it from other places. Let me show you, like, if they came in through Yahoo, and Bing shares what they searched for. Can an impeached president, the question is, can an impeached president run for office again if he is impeached? Or can a president run for office again if he's impeached? You can see what country they came from and how long they spent on your site. So what we'll do, we'll go to, I don't want to get into the politics side of it, so we'll definitely go to, can I use bar soap to wash my hair instead of shampoo? So what this does, like, I'm going to stop moving my mouse. My mouse is up here. And what this is a person interacting with my website, and I can see exactly what they're doing, what they're looking at. Does it look broken? Are people scrolling, one page down and stopping? If so, maybe there's a problem with that. And you can see, and a lot of these, let me go back. Let me find one that, and you can filter, you can, all sessions longer than 2 minutes. So you can see this would take a long time to, even though there's a lot of idle time, you can speed it up to, I usually do 2 times the speed, or you can do 4 times the speed, right? So you can get through these a lot quicker. And these are things they've clicked on over here. So this is definitely something, even if you don't keep it on all the time, because it'll slow down your website, generally not significantly, maybe a couple milliseconds, maybe a little more, I don't know. But you just want to make sure, you want to see how people are using your website, and you want to make sure nothing's broken. So I spend probably 15 minutes a week looking at sessions, and generally at the beginning you'll see some weird stuff, but it's useful because you'll start to see how people are using your website, and now you can use heat maps, which I think are overrated. I think it's cool, but I don't get much out of it. So basically, it shows you on a web page where people are clicking and where they are not clicking. Let me let this load. Looks like I'm already at 20 minutes, so I want to hopefully speed this up a little bit. Okay, I don't want to waste your time here. Basically, let me do one more. And if it doesn't load, I will pause it. Like I said, it's a free tool for 50 sessions a day. So this is a person on my website. And see these dots? These are where people have clicked. If you scroll down, the redder it is, the more popular that section is. So over here, green, blue. So you can see since they're clicking a lot down here, they are getting to the bottom of the article a lot. Generally, if it's red, I think it's red, it means it's a more popular section. I don't use this, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Some people find it useful. I think it's just one of those things that's really cool, and that's why people use it. So that's a lot on that. Your metadata and your schema. Your schema looks pretty good for your organization, right? For the homepage. However, since you don't have products, which is very not a good thing, even if you can't, and I'm sure a lot of, I don't know, but some of these products may cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, or maybe you can, maybe some of them cost $50. I don't know. But you definitely need to have product pictures with photos. Definitely, I would do videos even, and then use product schema to tell Google, this is a product page, this is the product image, this is the price. But you definitely don't want to have just this on your product pages. Even if you're not selling them, you need to get descriptions and pictures in there. Google likes that kind of stuff. It shows detail, and the higher you're going to rank. Also, I would not have this extra row looks very tacky. I would just have 1, 2, 3. I would try to fit it all in this top row. That just doesn't look good at all. And then you can test it, inspect. You can emulate what it looks like on a mobile phone, right? Oops. You can come here, responsive. So generally I just use responsive, but you can go, okay, this is kind of what it looks like on a tablet, right? Or you can do specific phones, like that's what it looks like on a Pixel. It's just a good emulator, and you can scroll down and make sure nothing looks broken. So these are things that I do with all of my websites to make sure nothing appears broken. You definitely need product pages. I mean, definitely. That's just a huge thing. Organization schema is good. And then you have product schema, which I did. You have the organization schema, but you need the products. I also would do people schema. I don't recall seeing, like, your web page is not very personal. It looks very impersonal. I want to see pictures of who these people are. It builds trust. Like, this guy looks, looks like a nice guy. Looks, it's a typical guy. But maybe do a video interview with him. This kind of stuff helps. Google loves media content. Do an about section. And then you can, the more schema you use, the more Google friendly it'll be. So you definitely want to do that. And I would also do like a virtual tour. Okay, this is cool. But who's the president? Who are the employees there? Like, yeah, just give a little blurb of who they are. And that would be extremely helpful. It would help your Google rating significantly. All these, if you do one of these, it's not going to help. But the more you do them, the more they're going to help. So I did a screaming frog test on your website. A lot of things are good. It's very rare. Looks like you don't have any mixed content, which is awesome. You don't have any 404 errors, any unknown page not found errors, which is good. The only two redirects you have when it's redirecting to SSL, which is great. But the thing you don't have any of, at least I don't think, maybe there's a couple, these meta descriptions. Google, these are the things that are presented in Google search results. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The metadata, if you search for hot dog, this little blurb here, it's called a sniplet or a snippet, whatever it's called, you want to put in each post or each page that you have that meta description so it identifies what's on the page. Now, if you don't put it, Google is going to figure out what to put there. But it might say, like the contact information for your company or something. You don't want that to happen. You want to put the meta description for all of these posts, something that will entice people to click on your page. Having it, I think they've said it doesn't help rank you higher just by having it, but it helps get more clicks if it is relevant to what people are searching for. You don't want Google to determine what to put there. And that's something per post you can go. And a lot of these things, it's a lot to do. But, knock out 10 per day. And then within, a month? Is that, my math is horrible. In a month, you'll have them all done, right? 5 a day, whatever. It's better. 1 a day, even if you can. And just kind of summarize. I like just copying, pasting the first paragraph and putting it there. But that's a big deal. So content. So you have to have content. Now it doesn't have to be about the company. It shouldn't be all be about the company. It shouldn't. You want to have anything that's loosely related to your website, because that drives rankings. And you don't want content just to have content. You want to have content that people are searching on. So a great way. And the more, like I said, the more clicks you get to your website, the higher you are going to appear in the Google search result rankings. So a great place to get content on it. You probably have no idea what to write about, and I certainly understand that. You can use answerthepublic.com, which is a great site. When you come up here and you type Saints, see this recommendations. This is called auto suggest. So what this site does is you use a keyword, and it uses those auto suggest recommendations to determine other things related to this keyword, right? So these are things people are searching on. These might sound hokey, but people are searching on this kind of stuff. So it comes and you can have a circle chart. You see a circle chart. So you can look at them here. But I go to data, so it's all kind of in a list. And so these things. So I was thinking, look, a lot of people. No, they don't get a lot of traffic. You can see 0 per month, but it wouldn't list if that's these are with a grain of salt. So Indramat CNC. So what is Indramat CNC? Write an article on that. How to use Indramat CLM software, and you could also do a YouTube video on that, which would be awesome. How to use an Indramat controller. What Indramat controller is the best? Top 10 things to know about an Indramat controller. I think would be really cool for you guys. Look at this. Indramat 204. Indramat CLM 1. Centralize all the manuals for all the Intramat machines or systems or whatever they're called on your website and put a PDF there, and people will get it, and they'll, that's traffic to your site. So that would be awesome. What are the common Indramat CLC error codes? And then this is a great thing. This is a perfect upsell, and I'm going to get to it later. Anytime there's an error code, you can say, okay, here's the error code. And you might think you don't want to tell people how to fix them because then they won't buy anything from you. Here's error code 1. Here's some things to try. Here's what error code 2 is. Here's some things to try. If none of these works, we'd be happy to help you. Feel free to chat with us. That's an example that I got that from the other day. I was having a Windows error on my laptop. I Googled for it. I searched for it. Here's some steps to fix it. I couldn't fix it, but it said, hey, our software will fix it if you're not having problems. Now, I didn't buy it, but that's because I'm very, very technical. But I guess I'm not that technical if I'm having to search Google to fix problems. But that's a great upsell. A lot of people probably would buy that product. So that's the kind of stuff you want to do. You could also use Keyword Cheater to get a lot of ideas, but it's not as visual. I use this. So I think manuals would be an awesome idea. Anything related. I don't know if it's called business automation or whatever you guys call it, like 10 things you should know about business automation, or what should you know before buying an Indramat. Another thing I thought of was there's different competitors that you have, and I mentioned it down here. So let's say you're competing with a company called Company A. Why should you buy from Indramat, or what's the name of your company again? Litco Automation, as opposed to Company A. Make that a blog post. So if somebody might type Company A, then you're going to show up in the search results, and somebody may not even know who you are, but they might go, oh, okay, maybe we should check out this other company. Is there a niche? And I don't know what these Indramat things do, but I would create landing pages for different sectors in business, maybe, or whatever your niche is, your niche, whatever you want to call it, and advertise Indramat for chemical factories or Indramat for data centers, whatever these things are used for. Oh yeah, that makes me have a blog post saying what are Indramats. I have no idea. Now people probably Googling for Indramats probably know what they are, but that would be one of the top things I would add to your page. In the keywords, let's say Indramats help pump air to a chemical something. I don't know. If somebody searches for how do I pump air to a chemical valve, then what is an Indramat will pop up. So you got to think about it from the description of it and from the title of it. So you want a lot more of your traffic going to blog posts than you do to your homepage actually. So you need to get that done. Now, I should have put this up here. Definitely list products and skimming. You have to list products. Yeah, and then upsell off your blog. So you definitely want to do that. So what are your competitors? And I have your competitors listed down here. What are they doing? If they are writing content, and one of them does have a blog, now I didn't look in detail. I mean, this is competitor analysis, which is a whole other topic. But they do have a blog, and it leaves it, so it's beginning to look like, and they have a little thing here. Let's say you wanted to write about this topic. I would take it, and you could throw this into a word counter on the internet. And let's say this is 300 words, which seems to be about, let's check. Okay, well, I was totally off. 600 words. You want to have at least 300 words per page. And Google says word count doesn't matter, but based on the research, based on the testing people, it does appear to be a factor. So I would take this piece of content and rewrite it. It's 600 words and do about 10 to 20% longer. I would always do everything over 1,000 words if at all possible, and hopefully you'll start ranking for this. Now, you do not want to copy and paste because you will get penalized for plagiarizing, but you want to summarize it, you know what I mean? Or just write it better, So that's that. So I said use keywords. They are dead. You can't keyword stuff anymore, but of course use keywords, right? You need to have external links. So an external link might be if you're referencing a product made by Yamaha, link to the Yamaha product page as well. Google likes web pages that link to external places. That shows them that you're part of the internet community and you want to help connect things. You definitely want to have internal links. That'll naturally come with WordPress, and it'll have related posts at the bottom and things like that. Flesh score basically means you want to write like you're writing to it, that a 10th grader can understand it. It's common sense. And of course, you have some technical stuff, so you definitely are going to have to write technical there. But you can plug it in here and see what this algorithm thinks the reading level is. You just don't want to do it's common sense. I don't really care about this, but I want to throw it in because a lot of hardcore marketers use it. People love emotional headlines. Like you want to write why people want your product, not what your product is about. Like that's the big thing. So it'll rank your headline based on what it thinks, if it's an emotional, and it'll say it is, it isn't. Here's a rating. And to improve it, do this. So that's a thing. May not work too much with your industry, but I gave this Windows troubleshooting example. Before you write any content, before you post any content, it definitely needs to go through Grammarly and even Hemingway editor if possible. This checks for basic grammar, spelling, punctuation. Google does take this type of thing into account nowadays. It's told us. So there is a paid Grammarly, which is about $150 a month, I think. And I think the free one probably does 80% of the checks. Maybe not, I don't know. But it seems good enough to me, but it's something you can choose to invest in if you want. But there's no content at all that should go on your webpage without running it through a grammar checker. The grammar checker in Word and OpenOffice just is not that good. And once you get a lot of content, you want to update it. Or when you're creating content, I would do one piece of new content per week. And I think you have a lot of opportunity to write good content, those manuals. I'm sure there's hundreds of different manuals you could find and you could attach them, just scan them or whatever. And then what you want to do, I would actually transcribe the text out of, I don't know, I'm sure Google does. Well, if it's a copy from like a copy machine, Google probably won't understand that text. So if you post the PDF underneath it, you would want that transcribed. So if somebody searches for what's in that manual, Google will be able to provide a search result for that. And there's software that I use some OCR software, this free software on the web, to convert PDF to text file, and it's generally pretty accurate. I mean, you have to go back and proofread it, but you don't have to spend the entire time transcribing things. You could also pay somebody on Fiverr from overseas, and they'll do it fairly cheaply. So, and then after you get 30 pages of content built up, you can scale back to once a month. And what I do, you want to keep your content fresh. Just go into it, every year. And depending on, I have hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content, so I can't possibly go into it at once. Here's what I'm trying to say. I go into one page per day and make sure it's accurate. Make sure, like, if your post is, like a post I'll have is how many World War II veterans are still alive. I'll go. I have a calendar entry to go in that. And I'll make sure it says as of 2018, as of 2019, as of 2020. I don't know of anything time specific to your industry, obviously, because I have no idea what it's about, but that's the kind of stuff you want to. Okay, well, in general, even if there's not time specific stuff, you definitely should go to one piece of content a day, review it, even if there's no changes, and I would suggest making some changes, change things around, update it, because when Google's indexing things, it'll say this piece of content was updated last week, so it must be fresh. If there's an equal piece of content, again, this is one ranking factor, that was updated 3 years ago, we're going to display the more updated one first, right? So you can just do one per day. It doesn't take that long. Get it with your marketing department. If you don't have a marketing department, an IT guy can do this kind of thing. Or if you need to hire another, even just hire somebody for 6 months and see if you start to get results. If not, you can go back to whatever's working for you guys. We went over the screaming frog. The images need to be optimized for sure. I mean, you do have a lot less than most people, but if you go here, images, you want to get under 100K if possible. Of course, that's not always possible, but you have some that are entirely way too big. This can be totally scaled down. I use paint.net, so let me show you. Let me go back here real quick. So you can see you have, what is that, 10 or 15 that are over 100K. And even if it's under 100K, if they can be optimized, you want to do it. Like this might be able to be optimized down to 10. So what you do, and there's tools that can automate some of this, but they don't always work that good. So what I do, and if you're not posting a lot of images, so it's no big deal to do these one at a time. So what I'll do is I'll do this. I'll open it, and I use paint.net. It's a free software. It's not Paint, it's paint.net. And you definitely want to see it's coming, it's on this page, so it's on the home page. Let's find the image on the home page. So you see it's loading fairly quick for me. What was the image? Is it the guy? Okay, it's a guy with a tablet type of thing. So you can see here. So if I look at image info, the image is 1280 by 853, but it's only displaying at 631 by 420. So you want to scale it down to this actual image size so it doesn't have to scale down on your end. That could be part of why it's loading so slow. So you load it up here, and you can see here, if you go to File, Save As, and you want all these images to be JPG, so we'll call it, and you want your image names to not be image43.jpg or image29.jpg. You want it to be relevant. So like man holding system.com tablet. So if somebody searches for system.com tablet in Google Images, this will show up, and hopefully you'll get a click to your site. That's a very big untapped resource for getting clicks. So let's do this. And so you can see, so this is the quality bar. So if I can zoom out, okay, here we go. Let's do this. So let's look at the detail on his thumb here. At 100%, it's 7.7 megabytes, which is huge. I try to get down to 50. So look at his thumb. You lose no quality whatsoever. Sometimes you can get down to, and that's still really good, and it's down to 400K. This is a very large image. I'm not sure what's going on. You probably convert it to lossyless as well, and it'll probably go down some. So if you go here, it gets real bad. So you just kind of use this scale to determine, and at least it's down what, like 100%? So you do that. Then also what you do is image resize, and whatever that display container size was. Okay, see, it's huge. I don't know why it displayed it differently on the website. So I think it was like 850 by whatever. Save it as that. Then let's do save as again, and I'm sure it'll be significant. That was why it was so big, is because it's a huge image. So scaled to, so I would call this Joe holding whatever. So if somebody searches for Syscom A tablet, whatever it's called, you'll show up in Google image results. So you can see here, now look. Let's probably get down to 50, and it's down to 49K. So what is, my math is being, I can't, so that's hundreds of percent smaller, basically. So that's the hundreds of times smaller. So that you want to definitely focus on that. So there's probably not a lot of opportunity for you guys in social media that I could really think of course, because there's not a lot of trending around Indromats, of course, unless there's other things you do. But I would get your social media on, and then basically what you do is just share your post to social media. I didn't find very much content of people talking about Indromats on Twitter, of course, but there's other related things that you do. And at a minimum, it is a signal to Google that this is another link into us. So you definitely want to do that. You can automate it that. Not automate it. You can't automate it, but I don't like doing that. But you can use Buffer, put the link in, then share it to your different social media outlets without having to share it at each one. Just isn't a lot of chat about it. Use other keywords if there are some. And I would look at what your competitor's doing on social media and then follow their followers and try to get them to follow you. If they do, that's great. Then you can unfollow them if you want at a later time, but sometimes they'll unfollow you again. And I don't think many of your competitors were doing much, but you just want to check into that. Is there anything getting buzz? Find out why. Engage with definitely engage if anybody chats with you. Social media, it's not really anymore about having social media. It's about how do you use social media. And again, these are just huge topics that can be discussed. If somebody shares your content on social media, right now it looks terrible. You don't have the image configured. This is Twitter rich cards. Configure Twitter rich cards so an image shows up here as well. That's probably the featured image that you don't have on the WordPress post. No big deal, because I don't think a lot of your content will be posted to social media. Your backlink profile. Now, like we covered backlinks. You don't have a lot of backlinks, and there's no spam, which is good, but you definitely need to work on that. And there's a link down here on how to get backlinks. I'll cover the basics of it. This is a whole multi-hour, multi-day class, but you definitely want to work on getting backlinks. That just shows it's another signal to Google. You want to okay, so what is internet? That would be a great blog post. Let's see what this is. I don't recall. Just a lot of stuff I take notes on when I'm going through these summaries. What was I asking? Okay, is there other keywords you can use for LICO automation? Like, I don't even know. Like, what is LITCO? Like Duradrene automation. These are the keywords people are using to get to your site. So I don't even know really why I made that point. It's not a really hardcore point, because there's just not a lot of search for this term. For what I can't remember what it's called, Angelin or whatever it is. Minor point on your website. Make all your email just as clickable here. Make these phone numbers clickable here. You left off the phone number here. You need to have live chat. That's huge. Absolutely huge these days. We don't know if that's a social signal or not, but it'll definitely help people who are curious. A lot of people don't like talking on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone. A lot of times if there's no way to chat with somebody, I'll just find a different company. And you don't have to have somebody sitting for the computer all days. Now it'll actually go to a mobile phone. And you can set it to where they can start a chat and it says trying to contact agent or employee. And if you're not there after a minute, it'll say, okay, send us an email and we'll get back to you. But if that chat applet was not there, or that chat, whatever you want to call it, widget wasn't there in the first place, nobody would have reached out to you. So definitely want to do that. Hey now. Backlinks. Go read about backlinks here. I might have, okay, so that was something I was pointing out. Now, this is a competitor of yours, Indromat USA. Whoops. What you want to do is see what the backlinks are for your competitors, and see if there's, like, let's say there's a backlink to one of your competitors from an industry magazine. Contact the industry magazine and say, hey, we've got a better article on this topic. Can you link to us? And say, maybe we'll give you a link back. We'll give you free advertising for a month on our site or something if you do that. So you need to get those backlinks built up. And there's just not a lot of backlink opportunities right now for what I could see. But there's more to your business that you do that I just don't understand. Can you list your products on eBay or Amazon? Like I said, I don't know. And that's just more signals. You may not even sell anything through there, but something you can look into. If you have scholarships, you can get really valuable backlinks from edu domains. Those hold a lot of weight. Think about offering scholarships of some kind, sponsored by, Litco. And I'm sorry if I keep pronouncing the name wrong. Also, awards get backlinks. Are you members of trade organizations? Make sure your listing is in all the trade organizations' website. Those are backlinks. You definitely want to look at competitor links and how to siphon them off. We discussed that. Just here's some good information on it. Now you want to find. I meant to change this to this because you don't really have a niche. I explained a niche up top. So you want to. Are there any directories that list Indromat sellers? You want to make sure your website's in all of those. You want to look. You can do keyword submit site. So what this will do, this will have it'll search for Indromat, then somebody that has the word submit site on their web page. So that's basically some kind of directory. You want to be in all the local business directories, all the business-to-business directories. The San Antonio directory San Antonio, submit my site San Antonio. Indromat city directory. These are things you search on to get in all these directories. They may never click on. Nobody may ever get your information from these directories, but these are more backlinks. And like I said, one of these things I'm talking about won't make a difference, but all of these things do add up. So I mean, if there's over 200 Google search signals, I think we've covered maybe 30 things. So it's 30 things that you weren't doing before. Are there any people blogging about what you're selling? Unless it was there's probably, I'm just going to say Indromat has to do with business automation. I don't know if that's true. You can do forum business automation. See what people are writing about it. Are there any blog, and then comment on it. Offer to guest blog. That's a huge thing. Let me do this. So if you Google keyword, write for us guest post. So what I did here, I found an Industry Machine Digest magazine. I guess that's more, I should have used that industry. So this is an answer the public. You could put industry machinery. Let's see if it'll let me do it again. You only get a certain amount of uses per day. So what am I at? Can't see this clock. I'm at 48 minutes. I like to keep these around 30 minutes to an hour. So hopefully we'll finish here in the next 15-20 minutes. So it's searching. Okay, there's data. See, here's a lot of ideas about. You could even write about what are some good industry machinery vendors in Italy. Doesn't seem relevant to you, but it'll drive traffic to your blog, right? And if they can't help you, we can. See, a lot of these are location specific, so it may not be that relevant, but these are just ideas. Let's see. Digest. What are some popular, or whatever. So you get the idea. You just kind of look through these, get some ideas, and then write about them. Gate vending machine, industry BVA. You could write about the gate vending machine, whatever that means. Do a review on industry tools and machinery. Then link to the Amazon of these products you're reviewing, and of course, you get a commission on those. So that's just some ideas. I mean, there's just so much you could do. Oh, so what I did. This is an industry machinery. You can go here. They have industry news. You could contact these guys. Ask if you can guest post for them. I mean, you guys are product experts, and that gives you backlinks. Can you advertise in this magazine? What could you do? How can you help this magazine? How can they help you? These places, these type of things are always looking for content. You can provide content. You can write stuff. Definitely do that. You'll get backlinks. You'll get traffic. I would absolutely, since your website seems kind of stale. It seems just kind of like something that's put there. It's not personal. Have a video hello. Have the owner of the company on the front page with the video. And of course, put it to YouTube because you can get traffic there and backlink from there. Hey, welcome here. If there's any questions at all, click on the chat on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That kind of seems like he knows what's going on too. He knows where things are on the web page. I would absolutely have videos on your products. A tour of your factory and your offices would be awesome. It just makes people see, is this just do 5 people work here to 50? What's going on? Like, should I do business with these people? Maybe you have like anything, just something. I would definitely have testimonials. Do you have any big customers like Verizon that you sell to? Have those displayed proudly on the front page. It shows that you're a big company. Case studies. How have I don't think you're doing any of this stuff. Let me go back and look. I actually didn't. Yeah, and you don't need privacy policy up here. You can put that down here in the footer. That's one thing that could help you decrease the rows. You're not doing. This is what people like to see. This is how it works. This is how people are going to trust you a lot more. I mean, you can use any company as a case study or as a testimonial, but if you have some that are known, nationally or just in your region, just something, so it shows that you're trustworthy. And it's a more video content. You could do an interview with these people in a case study. Definitely put YouTube on videos. I would do like a bunch of videos on how to do things. How to troubleshoot a Model 35. Here are the steps you do. If you can't figure this out, give us a call. And it links back. I would watermark all your images too. So if somebody comes across your image that uses your I can't think of the name, the description of it needs to be appropriate and the file names to be appropriate. So if somebody searches for it in Google Images, again, it's going to show up. But if somebody shares an image from your website, it's going to have your domain on it, your website on it. I would do free shipping over, I don't know how much, what the things cost there. Again, I don't think this is like a consumer market, right? I think it's more of a business to business. So this may not be relevant. People love free shipping. I would offer the lowest price on everything. Again, this isn't really consumer stuff. PayPal, again, if this is business to business, I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but people do love PayPal. If things don't have PayPal, I will go to another site. I wouldn't require a phone number on contact forms. A lot of people abandon forms if a phone number is offered. People don't. The impression is you're asking for a phone number because you're going to call me. There's no reason to add that there, unless y'all have done your own research and you hear it differently. I wouldn't do that. Earn their trust by emailing with them. That's a really effective way to earn trust. There's a lot of people who are going to abandon you, and if you email with them and they don't respond to you and you lose a lead, then they probably weren't serious in the first place. Now, again, like I said, this is a lot of digital marketing, but this is how you build your website up so you do appear in the Google search rankings. You guys aren't doing any press releases whatsoever. You can submit to dozens and dozens of places with your press releases, and that's a lot of backlinks. That's a lot of free PR. You definitely need that. This is one of the best websites for getting backlinks. It's Helper Reporter out. There's always journalists writing information on, I don't know about Indramats, but business automation, whatever those words are for your thing. They're always looking for experts in those fields to help write content. Whether it's Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine. I'm trying to think of some that are specific to you. There's definitely trade magazines that I don't know about. CNN, whatever they are. If you if you help write, if they do an interview with you, you're introducing a new product, and you get a backlink from like Yahoo News, that's huge. It's really going to boost your rankings up. So you need to do stuff like that. Google Images went over that. Now this tool that I use is Ahrefs. You can see. I think I get into advertisement. Basically, you need to see what you can do a lot of keyword research and advertisement research on Ahrefs. It's like $150 a month. That may not be worth it, but you can get it for like 1 month. I think you can get there and just data dump everything to a spreadsheet. Then that'll give you a ton of stuff, and then just cancel the account. Again, this is Facebook. There's a lot of business to business advertising on Facebook. If you think about it, and then anybody that responds to a post you boost, make sure you invite them to your page. Again, this isn't as relevant for you because it's more like people selling, energy drinks and stuff like that. Reddit and Quora are a great place to advertise, and they're cheap. You guys probably aren't doing any guerrilla marketing, which is so effective. I'm not going to get into all these, obviously, but you can see urban marketing. It's write chalk on the murals. Like I said, sponsor bikes. People love infographics too. They share them a lot. I would do infographics. Let me put that on here. And they share them a lot, which are backlinks, right? Now, these are the competitors I came across, and I got this all through Ahrefs. You want to look at their backlinks, look at their ads. Let's see. So if you can go to, this is the only one I saw that's advertising. Now, these tools aren't 100%, but Ahrefs is really good. Okay, it's there. Type it in here. You can see there's all kinds of stuff you can do. But you can go to here. Here's the keywords they are advertising on. I would definitely This is one of the most effective ways to advertise to drive traffic to your website. Indramat, well, that's not a good one because the company name like BEC, I don't know, it seems to be a competitor. If anybody types BEC into Google, their company is going to show up high in the search results. Well, there's BEC here and where I'm at. So, let me give you a better example. So, if you were a computer seller or something like it, you could advertise. Let's say you run Joe's Computer Repair. You would advertise using the words Best Buy. So it would show up before the Best Buy link here. It's a very effective way to advertise, and I definitely would suggest that. So let me go back. You can see on Ahrefs, these are things they're advertising on, right? And they're getting 41% of their traffic to their homepage based on advertising. So they've got 120,000 clicks to their website advertising. That's definitely something to consider. But they are advertising to their homepage. I would not do that. I would advertise to a landing page that talks about specific products. So these are the keywords they're using. Because you advertise for a landing page. Let's say you're advertising on a machine Model 300. If it just goes to your homepage, it's kind of like, okay, now what am I looking for? See, this is their actual ads. So you can kind of see, looks like they're getting 40 clicks to this ad, which is not a lot, but there's probably not a lot of traffic in your industry, to be honest with you. So see what they're doing. Maybe even try to add, they get clicks on it, add, and now it's $35 per each click, which I don't think is accurate. That seems very extreme since there's not a lot of competition. But you can configure all this in Google Ads and test it. Maybe try do an ad just like this and see if it works. There won't be advertising unless it's not working. You do that. These are the keywords that they rank for, which you don't, which is weird. Why was the printing press important? I don't understand how that. There's an article on Indramat US that is ranking for this, and it may be totally a fluke, but this is something you could blog about if it's related to your industry. I mean, I don't think they would have it on if it's not, but that's right. That make that article a little bit longer. Hyperdean Systems, is that a company? So what I would do, I would write a blog article on why you should choose Litco over Hyperdean, or why our Hyperdean drive is the best, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's that. I would advertise on Buy Indramat because that shows intent. If somebody types Indramat into Google search, they might just want information. If they type Buy Indramat, they're looking to buy an Indramat, and you guys would show up. And then Buy Indramat San Antonio. It shows intent. Let me see why I put this in here. Okay, yeah, these are just some of the keywords that show up for people getting to your website. So that link wasn't really relevant to what I was talking about. It looks like Indramat USA is getting 42% of its traffic based on this one advertisement. So I would try duplicating it and see if you get similar results. I bet you would. I guess that depends on how much other traffic you get. They advertise to their homepage. Definitely advertise to a landing page. Need to do some. Doesn't look like you guys are doing any competitor analysis whatsoever. Definitely do that. That's kind of what we've been discussing here. Monitor their ads. How much are they spending? And you could spend $50 a month on an ad. See if it works. If it doesn't, move to the next one. And then you can do an A/B test. Do ad 1, ad 2, which one's working better, and just keep optimizing. You use Ahrefs to determine this stuff. Here's another good link for you. SimilarWeb thinks you're in Nigeria, which is very weird. But these tools aren't perfect, so it might just be a bug on their part. But you might want to track that down and find out why they think that. I mean, you can't contact anybody there, but is there anything on your website or in Google My Business where you made a typo and put you're in Nigeria? That would be dramatically hurting your search results. Live chat, definitely. Looks like you're in Google My Business and there's one review, but you didn't respond to it. Google, for local SEO, reviews are huge. Responding to reviews is huge. Make sure you'd go back and do that. I think you're in Yelp, but get into every directory. Better Business, Yahoo. Most people forget about Bing Places because a lot of people don't use Bing. But, a lot of people do this. They get lazy and they type in Red Sox because they don't want to go to google.com, then search for it or whatever. And so it goes to Bing. So make sure you're in all the, and make sure everything's consistent. If the hours in My Business show you close at 5, but in Bing shows you close at 6, you're going to get dinged for that. Make sure everything's consistent. Now, the way to get reviews are huge. Every company I work with, every time somebody buys something, you hand them a card, whether it's a business, whether it's a little flyer or something, or if it's just all electronic, send an email. Say, please give us a review, and then give them direct links to the Google review, to the Yelp review, and so they just got to click 5 stars and submit. Don't make it hard for them, and then say, if you do this, we're going to give you a 30% discount next purchase, or at cost. Or if you only can do 10%, that's fine. You need to get those reviews. That's huge. Be personal. Don't make, say, hey, this is, when you contact them, hey, this is Joe from sales. Just want to say it would be really, really helpful to our company if you gave us a review. It would be really, really good, and would be happy to give you a free consultation or anything, whatever. And you'll get them. You're not going to get them all the time, but you'll get them. If you just send a formal automated email, you're not going to get them. But hey, this is Joe. We really appreciate, we really do appreciate your business, and we would really, really appreciate a review. That would be really kind of you if we're doing a good job. If not, let us know how we can do better. You want your products to show up in Google Merchant Center, of course. That's the Google products that show up on top of the screen. May not be relevant to you, depending on if you have any. Do people buy your stuff online? That's what it boils down to. You're an expert on these things. Is there podcasts related to probably industry automation? I think the keyword was. Find those out. Ask to be a guest. Help. These people are always looking for content, always looking for things to talk about. Be the expert. This will get you links back to your website. Obviously, don't duplicate content. If you copy and paste from somebody else's website, you will get penalized, and it's hard to recover from. Don't play. That's it. Oh, don't duplicate content on your website, because then Google won't know which result to show, and you'll probably fall down in the results. Obviously, don't plagiarize, because you will get penalties. One of the most effective ways to get people on a mailing list, which is still the most effective way to sell things. People love ebooks. On your website, have a little pop-up coming in the bottom right, and have a widget on the right side or something. Top 10 things you should know before buying an Indramat. Not only will that show up in the Google search result rankings, but people will sign up for it. Don't ask for phone number, just email address, and then they'll be added to your email list. Just a PDF free book. That's why all these websites you go to where people are offering free books, ebooks, it's not because they're nice. It's because it adds people to their mailing list, and that's a very effective way to market. Now, if you don't want to send people emails every day. For something like you, something every couple weeks would be good. Do customer satisfaction surveys. Find out what's working, what's not working. Definitely do this kind of stuff. You need to be using Google Analytics. It's free. I use a plugin called Analytify. So let me show you. This is my like trivia blog, whatever. It's like my test round website where I try 2 new techniques out. So if you go here, I'm not a developer, so it's not really that pretty, right? It's kind of dull. It's very basic. So if you go to Analytify, this links into Google Analytics, and you want to know how people are getting to your site. You're just flying blindly with that. So this is the last. I've gotten 100 visitors today. And I just haven't put enough. I probably could be up to 1,000 visitors today if I was continually able to put work into this. I just don't have time. But you can go over the last year. Let's go the last. You can see here how the trend is up. Now you can see it's stagnated just because I just haven't had time. But you can see here, these are blips when I was testing things out, so that's not really real traffic. But you can see here it kind of starts to shift up. This is after a year. And of course, the more work you put in, you probably could start trending up about here. Then this is not a really good curve. You hopefully would do something like, like this. That would be better. And that's pretty normal. But the more work you're gonna, the more of a curve you're gonna get. But what I wanted to show you. So this is what's going on today. These are the clicks I'm getting today. And I understand this is I'm not selling things here. I just want to give you an idea. Whoops. This is a free plugin. What the premium plugin gives you is it gives you this chart. So I do pay for it because I like seeing the chart, even though you could go in Google Analytics and see the chart. So bounce rate's 97%, which is not good at all. But for my type, like you would probably have a bounce rate probably closer to 50%. But a trivia blog, people just want to read the trivia and leave. So these are the most popular posts people are going to on my blog. 12 views. And this isn't 100% accurate. I mean, if you went, nothing's 100% accurate. These are where they're coming from. These are the web browsers that are using. These are the Google search terms people are using. Now Google, or these are actually Bing and Yahoo searches. Google doesn't provide these, and that's a whole other topic. These are where they're coming. You want to know where people are coming from, right? And if you had any errors, it would show down here. So that's basic. I mean, that's, again, these are very complex topics. Google Search Console. You want to make sure you check Google Console at least once a week. Your site may not be indexing and you don't know it because you're not checking Google Search Console. That's where you can get keywords as to what people are using to get to your website. So you want to find out what's working, what's not working, and then modify it. Have you submitted your sitemap to Google Search Console? You are. So if I do the site, it's called a Google Dork. Only going to search your site for help. So you can see you are in Google's index. All these results will be your web page. Let's say certain pages weren't being indexed, Google Search Console will tell you that. Don't forget about Bing and others, of course. Submit to Bing, then it'll eventually go to Yahoo and DuckDuckGo. Do you want to get in the China search engine and Russia search engine? I don't think you sell internationally, but that doesn't matter. If they search for something that goes to your blog with all that good content, that's just one more signal to Google that your website is legitimate. Check for broken links regularly. There's a broken link plugin. I let it run automatically every day. If it's a broken link, I get on it. You don't have any, so that's good, and you need to fix those rapidly. Now, how to stay up with all this information, it's ridiculous. I used to subscribe to all kinds of newsletters, read all kinds of tweets. It's impossible. There's a website called SEO Roundtable, which is awesome. It's a free daily email list, and it kind of summarizes the news for the day. Definitely follow this account on Google. This is the official Google Webmasters account, and John Moo is like the lead search guy on Google. I get mobile alerts when these things post, because if not, they'll just get lost in my Twitter feed. Now, I do use this SEO growth spreadsheet. Most reports are useless. It's ugly, but it works. So what it is, and I'll give this to you if you want, just let me know. It's very useful. So you can see, this is my website. These are the dates that I ran the test on. On Alexa, my site was ranked on 920, the 10 millionth most popular in the world. And then you can see as it, on because things just get too busy for me. I mean, if this was a company, obviously I would do this once a month. And down here, my website is the 2 millionth. So you can see all the progress I made. That's good. These are the backlinks. You can see I'm getting more and more backlinks. These are the clicks that I'm getting. You see, those are constantly. You see, look how much they jump. This is the amount of Google Analytics sessions, Bing impressions. How much is my website worth? Now this isn't accurate, of course. I mean, here it was probably worth $5, and here it's probably worth 20,000 or something. Maybe 50,000, maybe 1,000. I don't know. I haven't really looked at that because I'm not looking to sell it. But you just want to make sure the trend is still going up, right? And you click here and it goes. At least I thought. Oh yeah, here you go. It goes and just gives me this date without having to type it in again. So you would just need to change. Analyze. $94 days old. So let's do an update. See, I can see you haven't checked it in a while. It's worth $538. So that's probably decreased. It's gone up. So that's good. But you can see this other this is another one. It's a whole other item. So just keep an eye on it. Domain authority, this is good. This shows you, like, it's oversimplified, how trustworthy your domain is. You want this. The higher and higher it goes, theoretically, the higher you're going to appear in search results. Page authority for certain pages, AdSense revenue. So you can see it's just tons of different, not one of these means anything, but together you get a good trend. Now this is very useful, GT metrics. If you have like a 95 average GT metrics score, and then you notice 1 month it's down to 55, you know something's broke on your page and you need to fix it. So that's all kind of stuff. So that's it. Hopefully you found this useful, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Just let me know.